Hello, bonjour. My name is Victor Crouin. I'm a professional squash player. At the time of filming this, I had just achieved my highest world ranking of world number 8, and the following week I would reach world number 7. It is currently March 2023, and you join me at my dad's apartment in Toulon, France. I'd like to invite you to spend the day with me while I'm at home, training for the upcoming Gilmart's Canary Wharf Classic in London, England. Taking in the views of my home city is something I've really started to appreciate since spending more time away, whether at university in America or out on the PSA World Tour. The first thing I do every morning is take a cold shower. It's something I've started doing quite recently. It was tough at first, but now I'm just about used to it. I find that I feel wide awake afterwards and in a really good headspace for the day ahead. Since graduating from college and turning full-time professional, I've started taking some supplements every morning that help with brain function. I'm honestly not sure how much of an effect these have, but it can't hurt to try. I start each day between 7 and 8 AM, depending on when my first training session is scheduled. Ideally, I like to have 2 to 3 hours to wake up before getting on court. While I was in the shower, my dad was busy getting breakfast started. I have a very interesting relationship with my dad, as he's also my full-time squash coach and has been since I was a junior player. We're very close, which has many positives, but as you can imagine, has its fair share of challenges too. Since COVID, my dad has gotten really into his cooking and he's therefore implicitly relegated me to kitchen assistant when it comes to mealtime. I'm quite happy to take this role, and he's actually becoming really creative when it comes to preparing meals. As a food enthusiast, I'm delighted. This morning I'm having a combination of egg and avocado on toast, a pressed orange and grapefruit juice, and some fresh fruit and tea. I've been on tour for a few years now, staying in hotels and going to restaurants every day, so one of the things that brings me back down to earth is doing the dishes. Spending life on the road, you tend to forget about the simple everyday tasks. We have a dishwasher, but my dad refuses to use it when there's only me and him in the apartment, though deep down I actually find doing the dishes really therapeutic. After breakfast, it's time for my morning mobility routine. We're really fortunate to have a good-sized balcony that overlooks Toulon, and as we're filming in March, it's a perfect morning for some outdoor stretches. As a squash player, I think that one of my main attributes is speed around the court. I'm always looking to move faster and more efficiently, so having a consistent, effective mobility routine is crucial in helping me stay mobile and injury-free. While I was stretching, my dad was busy working on the plan for this morning's training session. Prior to becoming my squash coach, he was a planning engineer on architecture construction projects, which has really shaped his approach to coaching. His approach to planning and analytics is meticulous, and it's something I've definitely picked up in my own personality traits. It's now time to head to a local squash course. I'm training with my sparring partner, an 11th grader Thomas, who's fighting his way through the junior rankings. While he might not push me to the same level as a full-time professional, he's super passionate and determined to get better, and for me, that's what's most important. As you can see, my dad's meticulous nature comes into play again. Here, he's sweeping the court before we train. The center where I train regularly hosts training for disadvantaged and disabled children, which is fantastic, but the courts can sometimes get a little worse for wear afterwards. Ça va bien?
Ouais.
Ça va? T'es prêt pour le tournoi?
Ouais, je suis prêt.
Ils sont où tes parents?
Pareil, faire un tour. Ouais.
Ok. Ah, c'est ça. Ah bah ça devrait aller alors si... We take the warm-up seriously, but my dad makes it fun and challenging too. You can see here we're doing a range of movements to get our bodies ready. At the same time we're also doing some fun exercises that challenge both our legs and our brains. Most fascinating at how my dad can come up with new exercises every day. So it's not a routine, it's just new exercises. Having my dad as my coach is a fantastic way to push me outside my comfort zone, something I struggle with on my own. He knows me almost better than I know myself and can therefore push my body to its limits without breaking down. Because it's all about getting the balance right. Injuring yourself while training is the worst that can happen, but at the same time I need to make sure I'm using all my available time to the fullest. After our warm-up, it's time to begin our squash practice.
Quickly talk us through how the training session's going.
It's alright. Did some basic straight drive burst drills with targets on the floor. So usually I try to put condition on myself where I just have one small target and he's got a bigger one. And we try to stop the rally whenever we get the ball out of that zone. But yeah, I think it went well.
I know you've got a tournament coming up next week.
Yeah.
Are you tailoring any of the training towards that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I only have a week in between my two tournaments, the Squash on Fire Open last week and Canary Wharf in a week now. So it's definitely tailored around getting in shape and ready for that tournament. Just correcting a few of the
technical errors from the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, nothing big, nothing fundamental.
And how are you kind of looking to finish off this morning session?
I don't know actually. I'm gonna wait for my dad to let us know what we are doing now. But I think we might play a few condition games.
So we finished our training session with a full court rally, but to make this different, my dad is starting the rally by feeding a weaker lob shot, and we take turns attacking the nick on the first shot.
Done for session 1.
And how are you feeling after doing that session this morning?
Feel good. Definitely a little tired from the past few days of training, and it's Saturday, but no, I'm hanging in there. I know it's for the best, and yeah, I try to think about the next tournament every time I just step on court for a training session, just to motivate myself to keep pushing.
Sur le vélo.
Sur le vélo, ouais.
T'as deux sparring partners en vélo.
Now training's over, it's time to head home for some lunch.
A very well practiced routine.
Just nailing the angles.
So this is another one of my favorite meals. Simple, tastes amazing, and it's quite healthy. It's a bed of salad with some fried bacon and onions, along with some fresh garlic toasted baguette with goat cheese on top. Like my dad, I think I'm wired to be very analytical. After every training session, every match, or every tournament, I keep a detailed journal of how I played and how I conducted myself. I score myself on performance, how I felt physically and mentally, whether I got my tactics right, and how I felt in terms of skill level, as well as how much I enjoyed myself. I then send my journal over to my dad, who has a chance to add his comments. This is a really good way of working for us, and it helps keep our coaching and parent relationships separate. It's often hard to know whether I'm speaking to my dad or my coach, especially when things get emotional, so having this approach helps draw a clear line between the two. This isn't a new thing for us though. I've been following the same approach since I've started taking squash seriously. Being able to look back through my journey into squash is both really sentimental but also practical. If I have enough day or enough week, for example, I can look through my notes and try to see if there is any trends that might explain why I felt a certain way. By now you've probably spotted the Harvard logo on the back of my jacket. For me, this is a huge part of my life, and like a number of other players out on tour, I wear the logo with pride. Last year, I graduated in economics and was presented with the choice of whether to start a career or to go into professional squash. This was a huge decision for me as all of my family come from a very traditional career-focused background. For me though, playing squash is where I truly find fulfillment in life, and being able to live from my passion is something I couldn't pass by. There are times when I doubt myself, but looking back through all my logs, all my matches, and seeing how far I've come is a reminder to keep on pushing. Usually at this point I'd be going for my second hit of the day, but my dad had come down with a pretty bad cold, and given the nice weather I thought I'd show our cameraman one of my favorite hikes. Going for a hike, a bike riding session, or just a run around the local town is something I find really important to incorporate into my routine. I spend so much of my time on the squash court that I'm happy to get away from this environment during the weekends. To me, it is part of my recovery and keeps me feeling energized and motivated. It's been a full-on day today, so it's time to head for some dinner. We're going to a restaurant that I've discovered fairly recently, but has quickly become one of my favorite places to go. It serves a mixture of classic French and Italian dishes, and the food tastes amazing.
So obviously I don't go out for dinner every night. I'm not wealthy enough, but yeah. So we've got a roasted duck with mushroom sauce and some roasted potatoes as well. Like, I think my two things are like just eat healthy and have fun with it. I think we often get stuck as professionals on like just restricting ourselves to like certain foods, and obviously we need our protein intake, our carbs, our vegetables, but this is just all part of just eating healthy, in my opinion. And personally, I really enjoy going out for dinners and kind of making dishes and getting creative with them. So it's important just to have fun with it as well, and not to think of food as just fuel, but as well as something to appreciate, especially when it comes to like good food.
We're now back at my apartment. Generally on the evening, I like to relax, chill out and decompress. Now, at this point, I'll usually call my girlfriend. We met at Harvard and she's still studying there. So if she's busy, I'll often take this time to catch up on things I might have missed. I love reading newsletters from economists, both to stay up to date with the latest academic research, but also to understand events that are unfolding right now around the world. Alright, thank you guys for spending the day with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I think it was cool to be able to share the beauty of where I live. It was nice to have a little hike today, enjoying the weather. But yeah, I think I've got enough of this camera, so hope to see you guys at the next event. But for now, goodbye and good night.